Hello and welcome to this Hangout on Air, this live Hangout on Air. Let me, I notice that's a little too bright. Okay, talking about peaches today. I wanted to start at the top of the hour, and then the phone calls started coming. And it's the same old story. I can go 10 straight hours, and if I say, let me do a video, then the calls start, which is really a big reason that I do the dawn busters in the early morning things, because it's not too likely I'll get a phone call at 5:30 in the morning. People will say, oh, you're doing that because you want to drink alcohol at 5:30 in the morning and you're old drunk and all that. But the main reason is just convenient. I can get it over. I'll wake up early anyway. I can get it over with. Something like this in the afternoon, I got people call and they want to call. And I like for people to call me. All right. But anyway, going on. So then we got the NFL game coming up in an hour. We're talking about peaches, current events, right? The border barrier, or like they say, President Trump said, a wall, a fence, a barrier, whatever you want to call it. You can call it peaches if you want. He said that yesterday, which I found comical. And I said, that's what we'll call it, peaches. We want to build peaches. So I was telling James P. Madonna with progressive discussions about it. And I said, me being right wing, where that discussion is going to lead. And then he was saying, yeah, we're talking off air. I'm saying, he said, yeah, well, you can tunnel under a wall. And I said, well, you're telling me what I know already. And he was talking about drug cartels can have air-conditioned tunnels, but then he had to admit, well, of course they have a lot of money. They can do whatever they want. The common person wouldn't really be able to do that. And then now here's progressive. He's kind of like a socialist, democratic socialist. He says like Bernie Sanders type. He says, and you can watch his channel, Progressive Discussions. He said, but really, if you have a yard and you have, people, if you don't have a barrier, then anybody can come in. Like he was talking about people in the suburbs. He said, build a fence to protect their yard, and you don't have a right to go walking in their yard. And with the same principle would apply to a country. If you don't have, if a country doesn't have a border, then it's not a country. Now, anybody's welcome to comment here or participate even. Like I said, we cannot go on and on because of football related issues and the fact that there's no purpose to go on and on and on. So the concept of the video is, what about the wall? What about the border? What about the barrier? We went down there last year, at the end of last year, December, and we looked at the border barrier. It's very impressive. It's a huge fence. It's not a concrete wall, steel reinforced, but it's a fence. You can see through it. Very sturdy. But, it doesn't go that far. It might extend from Brownsville up the river about, we weren't tracking the mileage, it might be 30 miles, I don't know, along the river. And then it goes up it goes behind people's yard. I was saying, imagine having a backyard and you're cutting the grass and your property line ends at the fence. That'd be something to tell people. You could tell people I literally live at the bottom of the United States. Okay, will the border barrier peaches? Will peaches hurt the scenery? Yes, because it's very pretty to look across the river and see Mexico, and then even down there between Laredo and Brownsville, you can see mountains over on the Mexican side. You can see the beginning of the Sierra Madre or eastern side, Oriental, which is an extension of the Rocky Mountains. It runs from Panama all the way up to Alaska, that mountain chain, right? Okay, continental divide. Well, not there, but if you eventually out west. So it will hurt. Do you really want to build the fence, barrier, wall, peaches? No. But then, unfortunately, some people don't know how to follow the rules and they want to sneak across the border. So what do we have? We have the conservatives saying, and then there's different levels of that, and the liberals saying, and there's different levels of that. hardcore to more moderate, but they're saying don't let. So generally, what in the basic sense, the liberals saying, oh, it doesn't matter if they sneak in. Just because they break the law and sneak in doesn't mean they're lawbreakers. Which, if you think about that for a minute, that makes no sense. And then the conservatives saying, no, we can't let these people come in. They're going to take over the country. And if the country doesn't have a border, it's not secure. And terrorists could come in, drug dealers could come in, criminals could come in. So we want to follow the intelligent viewpoint. All right. You have a country, you have countries around the world. Does a country want to have a secure border? We would say yes, if a country wants to be secure. Can a country let everybody come in? A country could do it. It may not remain a country. It may lose its independence and be taken over by foreigners, which has happened in the past through invasion of other nations. Because what is a nation? A nation is an ethnic group. See, people confuse the word country with nation. France is a nation because it's made up, or used to be made up, of the French nation group, people group, tribe, the French people. They speak French. Okay, got it. A country is like an area within a boundary. France is a nation country because it's a country made up of the French people. Germany, a country made up of the German people. England, a country made up of the English people. Well, Wales, a country made up of the Welsh people. We can go on and on. Some countries are not nations. They're made up of nations. Okay? And the United States is an example. The United States is made up of many nations. The Indian nations, that's the Indian tribes. That's various nations. And then the African nations, who are all intermingled because there wasn't really strict borders in Africa in the 16, 17, and 1800s, we know. And so, but they were different nations. They spoke different languages, same racial group of various nations, like in Europe. And then the European nations, the Aryan, or if you want to call it the white nations, Caucasian nations, the French, the Italians, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Germans, the Dutch, the Belgians. And Belgium is not a nation, so I shouldn't even say that. Belgium is a country made up of French and Dutch people. The British, well, we can go on and on and on and on. All right. And then we have the Hispanic people, not a nation. Hispanics are not a nation. Hispanic is a language group, right? You have white Hispanics, black Hispanics. You could have a Chinese Hispanic if they come from a Spanish-speaking heritage, like maybe hundreds of years ago. So then you got this country, the United States of America, 50 states, 48 in the continent, contiguous, and then there's Alaska. You have to go through Canada to get to Alaska. It's an exclave. We call it an exclave. And then you have Hawaii, an island state in Polynesia. So all throughout the U.S. history, they had border security. Now, was it very strict in the 1700s and 1800s? Obviously not. It wasn't that strict because technology was simplified at the time. But you still, if you wanted to be a legal alien, and what is an alien? You see now, if you watch the media today, they don't use the word alien. That's like a pejorative today. And I was teaching religion class. I teach religion class, and I was at a seminar or whatever you call it, a training session one time a few years ago, and the lady was talking, blah, 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 blah. And she was saying, we have to watch what we say. We have to watch what we say. And I'm just listening, you know, I'm just listening. We can't use the word alien. That's an insult. And I'm thinking to myself, that'll be the day when I don't use that word. Because it's a legal term. When I went to Mexico 3 years ago, I was an alien legally. I legally entered Mexico, so I was an alien visitor. And I was allowed to walk around along the border. Now, if you go into the interior of Mexico, their law says, their law Mexico's law says I must acquire a visa to go into the interior, and I have so many days I can do that. I did that once when I went to Saltillo 17 years ago. Now, was I offended that I think Mexico was a racist country? And were they saying that because I was white or any of these things? No, I just followed the law. I don't go to other people's property and tell them what to do with their property. You understand? I was going to Mexico. It was their rules. I followed their rules. They have a big sign in Mexico. You can't have guns. Now, you might say, oh, well, a lot of people have guns in Mexico. They don't follow the law. They're criminals. They have all kinds of weapons. Crime is rampant. Yeah, I know that, but that's immaterial to what the sign says. The sign says you cannot own a handgun in Mexico. It's illegal to bring a gun into Mexico. Okay, that's their law. I didn't bring a gun. I'm going to show courtesy. I left the gun in the United States. I'm going to show the courtesy to the country. I'm not going to be a bad guest, right? So, cross the border, follow their rules. Now here, and then when I went down to Saltillo, I got the visa, and it wasn't very difficult to do, and all of this. Okay, so then we got America. Do a lot of people want to come to the United States of America, the 50 states? Yes. Why? Various reasons. Some legitimate, some illegitimate. We're not going to go through the whole history of immigration. There have been crackdowns on immigration in the 1920s. The U.S. government cracked down on immigration, said there were too many foreigners coming in. It was screwing up the country. There were too many radical socialists coming in, too many communists, and they had a revolution about to break out and whatnot. And there was a fear of that because it had happened in Russia internally, not with foreigners. They cracked down and made it very difficult to come to the United States. Now, who wanted the law changed in 1965? Liberals or conservatives? Well, you know the answer. Liberals. They wanted the law changed to allow more, and let's be frank, non-white immigration into the United States for various reasons. Some may be legitimate and some nefarious. So they changed the law in 1965, allowing much more immigration after 40 years of the crackdown. So did we have a flood of non-white immigration? Yes. You might think that's good. You might think that's bad. That's another argument because we're talking about legal immigration. Now, if you remember back in the 1980s, there was a big controversy began to erupt. Too many illegal aliens in the country. And that was the term liberals and conservatives used, legal aliens. No one argued about that term. Everybody said that. There's too many illegal aliens in the country. So they said, what are we going to do? Kick them all out? No. Well, remember, in 1986, we'll have an amnesty. And I was not in favor of that. I thought that doesn't sound like a good idea. You don't excuse bad behavior because bad behavior, if you allow bad behavior excused, is bad behavior rewarded, right? You're rewarding it. So they say, okay, we're going to let all the ones who came in stay. But we're going to crack down after that, boy, oh boy. That was in 86. You remember Ronald Reagan, the conservative, and I've made videos before. You know, you watched the videos where I said Ronald Reagan was not a conservative. He was not. He was a conservative liberal. I don't know why people can't understand it. Well, they can't understand it because they don't know. I can't get angry at people who don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. But now you know because I'm telling you, and I can back that up. And you can come on here and argue with me publicly, and I can tell you that I know what I'm talking about. So Reagan, a conservative liberal, and the liberals and the moderate liberals who are in control of Congress and the presidency and the Supreme Court and lower courts decided we'll have an amnesty. They passed a law, it got passed. Did that stop the illegal immigration problem? No, it did not. Because it sent a message out. If you sneak in, eventually they'll let you stay. Because they had done it in 86. So did the problem decrease? No, it increased over the last 43 years. More came in, more came in, more came in. Did the liberals mind? No, they liked it because immigrants, illegal aliens, if they got to become a citizen, some kind of way, through various immigration reform, which always means letting them stay. So you got to learn these terms, see. They would always vote 99% of the time for the liberal Democrats because I snuck in, they're going to let me stay, And here's the other people that are threatening to make me leave, even though they're probably not going to really do that because most of the conservatives are all talk. Jorn says, are you a professor, Ron? No, I'm not a professor. Okay, now, so the Republicans say, oh, we need to stop it. But if you remember the last 43 years, I'm sorry, 33 years, they didn't really do anything about it. The Democrats, the liberals, and I'm a Democrat, but I'm a traditional Democrat, an old-time Democrat. Think about like Grover Cleveland, Democrat. They say, oh, we want them to come in. We want them to come in. Stop being, now in the last 20 years, they say, stop being racist. That's the key word people like to use all the time. Stop being racist. In other words, if you want border security, you must be racist. And Republicans, they're very frightened people. They say, oh, no, I don't want to be called racist. I would rather my whole family and myself be shot to death than be called racist. So they say, no, and then the Republicans, you know, they have that fantasy. They believe in their, or maybe they don't really believe it, or they want their constituents to believe it. They say, oh, we have to placate the Hispanics. We have to give in. And so we're going to soft pedal it. No, we're not going to do too much about it. And they'll all vote for us. And then if you know the Republicans, if you watch the Republicans for the last 30, 40 years, which I've done with my own eyes and ears and nose and mouth, the Republicans are very predictable. They say, oh, and you can see this on Facebook all the time now. Oh, let's find this Hispanic guy and he'll talk conservative. And then all the Hispanics will believe him and they'll all be running behind Republicans. Hasn't worked out very well, has it? No, it has not. Look at your election maps. Hispanics still predominantly vote Democrat. Oh, let's get a black man to go talk Republican. Like you might say, a token black. Okay. And we'll shop him around. And you know the Republicans, we'll shop him around. And they say, oh, look at our black man. And then all the blacks will vote Republican, or it'll really increase. It'll really increase the number of non-white Republicans. And has that worked out? No, it has not. So it's like the Styx song, fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself, don't believe it. But then the question is, do these Republican leaders really believe this pretend game that they play? All right. But anyway, getting past that. Jorn says Bernie Sanders is the key. Yeah, he's the key. Well, he's not the key. He may be a key to certain things. I wouldn't say the key, maybe a key. But do you want to open that door? Now, okay, so now here we come down to 2015. And there's a fly in the ointment, right? Who's the fly in the ointment? The irascible Donald J. Trump, the television reality, so-called reality TV star, wrestling enthusiast, billionaire, real estate mogul, tabloid magazine fodder, who everyone knew about for decades. Mostly seen as sort of a comical person, a caricature, and well liked by many liberal Hollywood types for years. I never cared for the guy. I thought he was a very silly clown, but then things started to change. He started to display some, to the liberals, of course, troubling nationalistic ideology. Remember, he in 2012 and even before that, 2008, saying Obama needs to prove he's a citizen. He might be fake. He needs to show his birth certificate. That was the first sign. And people say, what are you talking about? And Trump was one of the big leaders of that. So then people start saying, ding, 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 ding. The alert bell goes off. This may not be just a regular old clown as it seems to be. Then in 2015, he did this 60 Minutes interview on CBS. And I said, let me watch this because this guy might be so goofy. I must watch this. But I was stunned when I watched it. And he talked about United States needs to adopt a position of neutrality in the Arab-Israeli conflict. First person ever running for president ever said that. And I knew they were. I said, they're going to come after him now, boy. And then he was talking about, let's make peace with Russia. Let's pull troops from around the world. Let's have border security. I said, oh, he's talking like me. First time I ever heard a Republican talk like their base. You know, the Republican Party throws crumbs to their base, but they don't believe, you know, they don't believe what they want what their base, their voters believe. You see, the Republican Party is more of a New York-based international finance capitalism establishment party, but they placate their nationalist base. But here's Trump coming along and talking like the base. Andrew Little says, ding, 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 red alert, red alert. As Cesar Centro says, time for a third party or more. Oh, I don't know about that. Third parties have never done very well in the United States, as we know. So he's in there running for office 2015 and in 2016. And then you remember the Republicans establishment says, we're going to take this guy apart. He's an amateur. He's a clown. He's no threat to these well-entrenched Republican careerists who are going to say all the right things and be very careful and button down. They speak so nicely and don't say ridiculous things on the air. But they all went down for the count. Donald Trump in 2016 was like Mike Tyson in 1985, knocking everybody out. They said, who is this Mike Tyson? Nobody can stop Mike Tyson. Nobody can stop Mike Tyson. And in 2016, no one can stop Trump. No one can stop Trump. So he stunned the Republican Party because the voters chose this loudmouth guy. And people said, what do you think about him? He's so loud. I said, I like it. I like people who are outrageous and loud and don't care if they lose, because now they have a chance to win. And like Ken Harrelson, the Chicago White Sox announcer, retired announcer, used to say, show me a manager who's afraid to lose and I'm going to show you a bad manager. So he didn't care if he lost, you know, so he was in there battling. And then I said, okay, he's going to win. And then the presidential election came against Hillary Clinton, the ultimate establishment candidate, as we all know. Ultimate establishment liberal candidate. But as the November approached, I said, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win. And you could see the momentum building, and she was becoming much more uptight and worried. And you could see the Democratic Party become very worried. They would laugh it off, like Fareed Zakaria on CNN, say, oh, he's not going to win, blah, blah, blah. But you could see they were very concerned, very, very, very scared, terrified, really. And just like they had the last 2 weeks of the campaign, I thought, it's in the bag now. They're going to go down. They know they're going to lose. And even Clinton, you could see she was could just see it. She knows that's it. The jig is up. I'm out. And she lost, and that was that. All right. So then we know we're not going to get into all about the investigation, all that, because they said we can't lose. We got to bring him down and all that. So then we go to the wall, the border, the barrier, the fence, the peaches. That was what he built his whole campaign on. We got to stop this illegal immigration, illegal aliens coming into the country. And people say, they say, right on, brother. On the right wing, you know, right on, brother. And then the left wing, oh, you're racist but that doesn't make any sense if you're racist because you don't want people to come into the country illegally. You see, the whole logic is illogical. Just because a person comes in illegally doesn't mean they're going to break the law. They're breaking the law because they're coming in illegally. They're automatically a lawbreaker, right? So when the person enters the country illegally is saying, this is what they're saying. I'm not going to follow the law. I'm coming into your country. I'm going to do what I want. Your law doesn't apply to me. I don't care about your law. I'll do what I want. I know I'm supposed to check in at the border at a proper port of entry, fill out the proper paperwork, but I don't want to do that. So if you don't care about that law, then we would have to assume you don't care about any law. You say, what laws? Any law. Think about any American law, then you don't care. So the people are saying to you, I'm going to be a bad guest. My law is my law, not America's law. And then we have that ridiculous idea that if people come across the border and have a baby, then the baby's automatically a citizen. All children born in the United States are automatically a citizen. That's ridiculous. It's not the law. That's not what the Constitution says. You say, no, the liberals say it. I heard it on CNN. No, I know, but that's not what the Constitution says. The Constitution says all citizens born in the United States and under the jurisdiction thereof. You see, illegal aliens are not under the jurisdiction of the United States, except as an illegal alien, they're under the jurisdiction of Guatemala and Costa Rica and Nicaragua and El Salvador and Colombia and Mexico. That's the jurisdiction. They're citizens of Mexico. They're not citizens of the United States. If they come across the United States legally, now let's say legally they're on a vacation. Legally, they're on a vacation. And the woman has a baby. No one's going to say, oh, the Mexican is a citizen. They're going to just say, oh, the lady had a baby while she was here, but then they'll go back home to Mexico and the baby will be a Mexican. You see, they want to have it both ways. The liberals, I'm talking about the liberals, want to have it both ways. Now let's see about the comments. Bernie is too old, says Caesar. It's two O's, T-O-O, but I got you, too old. Too old for what? Oh, to be president? Yeah. Trump is very old. He's the oldest president ever. Andrew Little says, trust your gut, people. Spad says, build that wall or that fence or that barrier or that peaches. All right, now I'm going to get a beer and I'll be right back. And this won't take even 20 seconds. I'm back, see? Now, if you disagree, then you can state your disagreement. You can come on air with me and debate me. You can say here, you can say, okay, here's why we don't need a wall. And now our argument that people can tunnel under a wall makes no sense. That would be like saying, well, in World War II, we shouldn't have used bombers because bombers can be shot down. Well, of course, they'd be shot down, but they still used bombers, B-17 and B-29. Of course, you could tunnel under a wall. You can run a red light. You can sneak into someone's house. I have a lock on my front and back door. People could break in. So you say, well, since people can break into your house, don't lock the door. If people can break into your car, don't lock the door. If people can climb over your fence in your yard, don't build a fence. You see, that's a lot. You have to use thinking. You have to use logic. You have to. Oh, I'm sorry. What am I drinking? Oh, the Keystone Ice, because I can get it $8.49 for a 15-pack. And I like it. It's enjoyable. And so I drink it. It's what we call a standby beer. Raining on your parade. Sorry, Jeep and Foodie. I just got so caught up in the argument. So there's the Keystone Ice. Now, should he declare a national emergency and build the wall? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he should do that. Although I would support it, we would rather if Congress would fund it in a normal avenue. And I don't think the president should have all these powers. See, Congress gives the president all these powers. And like Fareed Zakaria on CNN said, well, he even admitted the president legally can do it. He said, but when the Congress gave the president this power, they were not thinking they would have somebody like Trump. Now, well, okay, well then don't give him the power then, okay? Duke the Alien Wizard says, no Mexican is illegal. All Mexicans are indigenous to this land. White people rape, murdered, and tortured the natives of this land and then still this land. Okay, I don't want to hear all that, okay? Why don't you go run off to a powwow or something? Because first of all, that is a blanket statement that makes no sense. The Aztecs were murdering other Indians. Indians were killing each other, just like white people in Europe were killing each other in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. Just like the Asian people were killing each other, torture and murder, raping each other. Nations have fought against each other for years. Do we defend that? No. Should people kill each other? No. Should people do all these things? No. Should people have imperialism? No, they should not. We don't support imperialism. But this is the country that's in place right now. The United States is in place now. It has been in place since 1776 as a country, recognized, and since 1783 after the Peace of Paris, 1783. And you can come on here and show your face and use a real name if you want to talk about it. Not gonna come on here with a fake name with a cover on your face. All right, so this is the country. It's in place now. France is in place now. Russia's in place. Has a lot of Russian land come from conquest? Yes, most of it, or a good amount of it. But it's a country in place. So what do we say? Well, you know, in 1680, well, you know, in 1688, Russia had a war with Sweden, and they took some of their land. So they should give it back to Sweden. And, you know, in 1945, Russia grabbed the Kuril Islands from Japan, and so they should give it back. And, you know, we're not using that kind of insane logic. And then we'd have to trace it back. Well, this Indian tribe in 1534 attacked that Indian tribe, so the this such and such tribe really needs to give that land back to that other tribe. So no, Duke, we're not going to entertain that. They are illegal if they're here illegal. So if you want to use the racial conflict viewpoint and say that all Mexicans, whatever a Mexican is supposed to be, because that can mean many things. So I don't even know what you mean by that, has the right to come in to the country without paperwork, then you're wrong and you will lose and we will fight back. Okay, this is not going to be taken lying down. What we're trying to say is that people are not going to roll over. They're not going to lie down. They're not going to take it. And that's why Trump's support is growing, okay? So don't imagine or have a fantasy in your mind that people are going to just roll over and say, oh, yeah, you can have it. You can take it. You can't take it. You say, we're going to take, maybe you'll take it, but it won't be without a fight. Other than Trump, I don't see another Republican candidate, says Cesar. Is a sure thing for Democrats this coming elections. You're talking about 2020? Oh, well, they said it was a sure thing in 2016. And now Pat Buchanan, you know, I posted that article Pat Buchanan wrote about the wall, the border, the barrier, the fence, peaches. Does the Democratic Party, the liberal leadership of the Democratic Party, do they want more alien presence? Do they want more illegal aliens coming in? Well, of course. And Pat Buchanan said they want less white, more non-white, because they want to inherit the kingdom, so to speak. He didn't use those exact words, but they want to get their inheritance, the Democratic Party. Because it's about power, you see. Power, power, power. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, Lord Acton's statement. Now, Duke says Mexicans are Israelites according to the Bible. So, okay, well, this is a legitimate discussion. We're not talking about the world tomorrow, the world today. You know, you might want to go watch a Herbert W. Armstrong video, which would probably be very entertaining. I'm sitting on the stone of scone. Actually, I'm an Israelite. You know, we don't want to start talking about Edgar Casey and you know. This is supposed to be a normal discussion, you know, like based on reality. So let's, all right, I'm not even gonna, all right, so let's get back to, so should there be a barrier? Would it be pretty? No, be prettier than those damn windmills I see all over Texas, which a certain president, and we know who that was, promoted being built with his connections to the windmill companies, defacing the scenery, which are inefficient. You say, yeah, but those windmills make $100 an hour and they only cost $600 a minute to build. See, you can make $100 an hour, and it only costs you $600 a minute to run it. Right. So talk about a boondoggle, a boondoggle, a boondoggle. So is the wall a boondoggle? No. It would be like saying the interstate highway system is a boondoggle because it costs a lot of money to build. We could say that foreign aid is a boondoggle. Should the United States be giving foreign aid to Israel and every other country on earth, Germany, Japan, Peru, Bosnia, Herzegovina? Well, no, we don't. We're on the, I mean, the real conservatives, not these New York establishment, you know what I'm talking about. Not that gang of people, but the real conservatives say, no, the United States shouldn't be giving money to any country. You know, like no money, like $0 ever, forever, right? That's how much foreign aid we want to give. $0 forever for everybody. Now that's equitable. So you could fund the wall in one day. Think about that. In one day, you could fund the wall if you cut off foreign aid. And plus a lot of other things you could fund. Or on the other hand, maybe you just wouldn't have to tax people so much and Americans could enjoy their own money that they earn. Wouldn't that be nice to have a job and be able to keep your money? You say, well, we need some income tax. Sure, we could have a 2% flat tax. You say 2%, 2%, sure. Because if you weren't funding the whole world, then you could afford to do a lot of other things. Duke says, okay, so you don't want to talk about historical facts and logic? Yeah, what do you think I'm talking about? I'm not talking about Mexicans or Israelites. I say let Trump build his wall and declare martial law and take our guns away. Who cares? America is destined to be destroyed anyway. Thanks. Thanks, Duke, for your positive spin on the discussion. Now, I can't read Cyrillic, so I don't know what your name is. But he says, hello from Russia, and I'm saying hello to you. Anek, no, I can't speak Russian. Okay, hello to you in Russia. So, now, that's the cut and dry of it. Do we support a border, a barrier, a wall, a fence, a peaches? Yes. Can it be built? Yes. Will it be built? Now, this I do not know. There's some of it there. It was built under Obama and Clinton and Bush #2. You know, George W. Bush. But it doesn't do much good because it's incomplete. Now, if everybody stopped sneaking into the country, would we need a wall? Of course we would not. I mean, use your mind. Instead of talking about fantasy conspiracy theories about Israelite Mexicans, just talk about normal things like what I'm trying to tell you. If let's make it simple. We'll simplify things. How about that? If people didn't sneak in to this country, you wouldn't need a border fence, wall, barrier, peaches. But since people do sneak in, then you need a way to keep them out. You say, well, what happens if you catch them sneaking in? Well, that's very simple. You tell them to get out in a nice way. I don't say you be rude. We're not rude. You say, oh, well, you snuck into the country. That was bad. That's against our law. Well, you have to get out. So, well, bye, get lost, scram. And you make sure you get their identity and you put it in a database. And you say, well, what about second chances? Sure, give them a second chance. You can go to the back of the line. And if you come in legally at one point in history in the future, maybe the far distant future, then you can come in and stay and become a citizen. Now, if we catch you a second time, you'd be barred forever. So you got to, if you want to play rough, you know, you got to. All right, so you say, what about the 12 million illegal aliens? See, I don't use those euphemisms like illegal, what do they say, undocumented immigrants, migrants, and all that. No, I just say illegal aliens. I use that term, illegal, because they're not here according to the law. They're aliens because they're not citizens. See? Nice term, right? It's legal. It makes sense. What should we do with the 12 million illegal aliens in America? Simple. It's a very simple solution. Send them home. Say, well, you got to get out. You say, well, they're not going to leave. No, you don't. I didn't say you asked them to leave. When did I ever say you asked them to leave? Ask, A-S-K. I say you make them leave, see? If you get a speeding ticket, they don't ask you to pay. They make you pay. You got it? They don't say, well, would you like to pay for the ticket? I mean, if you don't want to pay for the ticket, you don't have to. You could if you want, right? No, you got to pay. Do you have to pay income tax? No, they make you pay. So do you have to leave the country? Yeah, you're getting out. You think you're home, but let me tell you something, partner. You're not home, but that's where we're going to send you if it hair lips the governor. So you say, well, what's going to happen if the real traditional conservatives get control of the country? Are these 12 million people going home? Oh, you can guarantee that. They ain't staying here. Is there going to be a wall? Yeah, it's going to be a real wall. And we can call it peaches. And are things going to change? Are they going to change drastically? Let's see what Duke the Alien Wizard. Well, he does call himself Duke the Alien Wizard. So, yes, the wall will be built. It's been prophesied in the Bible. I read the Bible many times. There's nothing about a wall on the Mexican border in the Bible. But America will be great for a while, and then the end shall come. America will be destroyed and judged by God. You mean judge, ED, past tense. Yeah, it's not in the Bible, but raining on your parade says casino. Right. He's weak, he's incompetent, and the bottom line is he cannot be trusted. All right, what should we do about the billions of children of illegal immigrants who came here in 1776? The billions of children. We should give them a medal and tell them that they could be vice president of the world, Duke. All right. The house is doing well. All right. Well, the beer is enjoyable. I think we've made our point. And are we going to win? I mean, I am very confident. That's why when I would get into discussions with people on Facebook, the social media platform, they'd say, oh, you. I say, I'm not angry because I'm confident we're going to win. So why would I be angry? And if we don't win, we're going to at least try real hard now. All right. So if you have a positive approach, a winning approach, a confident approach, and you don't have to be angry. You know, I see the people at these protests, they're angry. I'm angry. I'm going to lay in the street. I'm going to roll around on barbed wire. I'll show you. I'll show you. Will you be angry? While you're angry, we'll be winning. Cesar says, don't get tipsy now. No, I'm not going to get tipsy because I only have one more beer scheduled for today. It'll be another Keystone Ice. So no, that's not going to happen. I did do the Red's Wicked Sour Apple, which I don't know how do you make it taste like a sour apple. It tasted literally like a golden apple and a green apple sour. It was something. But that'll be posted in about 6 days. But that was a lot earlier today. All right, so that's my opinion about the wall. Yes, I mean, I say, yeah, build it, build. So I was telling these people on Facebook, I got 2 words for you. I'm talking about the liberals, you know. They always say, I'll unfriend you, I'll block you, I'll unfriend you, I'll show you. Well, that doesn't, I mean, you could do that. That doesn't really back up your argument. It actually displays weakness. Because they crack me up. They're always making these flashpoint posts. This is what I'm posting on Facebook. And you obviously want a response, right? It's like, why would you post it? You want a response. Like, I'm making a video, right? Okay, I'm making a video. I want a response, right? I could have just talked to myself or on the phone with somebody. So, but they'll say, I'm going to make a post. All right. And then you say, well, I don't agree. Let me show you why. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't disagree. And then I'll unfriend you. I'll block you. Well, you can do that. I mean, that's an option. It's on there. You can say unfriend, block. It's like, here, I'll show you. I'll put a thumbs down. I'll show you. Well, I mean, you could do that. It's an option. But it doesn't bolster your argument. The way you win an argument or promote your idea or promote your propaganda, if you want to say promote your propaganda, is you present your argument and you let people speak and give their viewpoint, and you have a point counterpoint, and you don't call people names. See, if your whole argument is calling people names and making fun of people, that's no kind of argument. And do people on the conservative and the conservative side do that? Yes, they make fun of people, call people names. And I always say don't do that, because you're it doesn't help you. It doesn't help promote your viewpoint. Duke says, Duke the Alien Wizard says, oh, no, he's talking about the Antichrist and microchips. And then our Russian friend says, even with all the problems which you say, Mexicans, Trump, etc., you live in a humanistic society, country. In the USA, you won't be put in prison for a repost of a picture discrediting the president. Yes, that's true. Now, in other countries like maybe Russia, you have to be very careful with what you say, because you could wind up in a real problem. And that would go for France too. Now, we got these Western liberal countries like France and Germany. Don't think it's just Russia, sir, because go to France, Germany, Austria, maybe not so much in Austria anymore, Switzerland, Belgium. Make the wrong statement. You might find yourself in prison yourself. You might find yourself in prison. You may even go to prison in Germany for asking a question. Like, you didn't make a definitive statement. You simply asked a question. You could go to prison. You say, no, no, no. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And it may not be about the president of Germany or the prime minister, chancellor of Germany, prime minister, same thing. So you got to, hey, don't think it's just Russia. But in America, yeah, we can do more. We're trying to fight the closing in on free speech. You know, they're trying to close in on free speech. Now, Duke, are you kidding? Mexicans spoke Hebrew before they were colonized by the Spanish. And that is historical fact. Mexicans are part of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. A simple Bible study will prove this. Oh, right, I forgot. What was I thinking? It's right there in Jeremiah. The 10 tribes of Israel went to Mexico and started Azatlan. I don't know. I get mixed up sometimes. He says Mexicans are from the tribe of Issachar. Black people, Blackle, he means black people, are from the tribe of Judah. And the Native Americans are from the tribe of Gad. What was I thinking? I mean, I don't know. You learn something every day. Anyway, but I got to get back to planet Earth now, Duke. So let me get on back there. All right. Thanks, folks, for watching this video production. And we were able to mainly, mainly focus on the topic at hand, which was what? Israelism. Oh, no, it was, should we build or should we not build a border barrier on the Mexican border? Has our Russian friend ever heard of the home security law? He may not have. Renting on Your Parade says, cheers. Cheers back to you. I appreciate you watching my videos. People think, now Jeep and Foodie, hey, Jeep and Foodie. People think things are so bad in the U.S. I'm pretty sure things are worse in Russia, North Korea, North Africa. That's probably true. I know one thing about Russia, they're a lot colder. I don't like cold weather. I always tell people this. Louisiana is too cold for me. It's always chilly here. It's damp. It's cold. I mean, you think Louisiana is warm? You're wrong. Louisiana is not warm. Louisiana is cold and damp and cloudy. It's like England with less coldness. I like the heat. So, I don't know about you, but I just don't like cold weather. I like being warm. My body's 98, what is it, 98.6 degrees. And that dang gone chill just tears me up. You say, well, how long you been dealing with that? Oh, about 50 years. Duke says, subscribe to my channel for more information. Well, y'all can do that. Y'all can subscribe to Duke the Alien Wizard's channel. He's going to tell you about how the Israelites are really the Mexicans and the black people and some other people, the Indians, and all these interesting topics. And you can watch it. I'm not making fun of you. If you want to believe that, that's fine. But that really wasn't the point of this video. But if y'all want to watch that, you might be fascinated by it. This was more of a simplified video. Should we or should we not build a border barrier wall fence, peaches on the Mexican border? And I'm saying, yeah, we should build it. Meaning the U.S. government. You may disagree. Now, if you disagree, dude, does that mean I'm going to call you a communist and a red and a atheist and an evil and all of that? I won't necessarily call you a communist. And just because you disagree with me, do you have to say you're a racist, a pig? I mean, you could do it, but it doesn't mean that. We could just, not agree. Or maybe we could agree, or maybe we could just kind of agree or kind of disagree. All right, anyway, we got the NFL game starting. My father called me on the phone right before this video, and he said, it's snowing, it's snowing. You ought to see how bad it is over there in Kansas. I said, you mean Missouri? Yeah, he said, yeah, Missouri. So I'll go see about the snow. Kansas City is in Kansas and Missouri because it's on the border, like literally on the border. But the stadium, the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium, is in the Missouri side. So it's in Kansas City, Missouri. All right. So anyway, well, all right, Duke, I got you. We get you. We get what you're saying, but you got to do your own channel, you know, and you could talk about all these fascinating topics. Anyway, Jeeping Foodie says, have you ever been to Arrowhead Stadium? No, but I have been to the Kauffman Stadium, the Kansas City Royals Stadium, twice, in 2007 and in 2000. Oh, I can't remember. I've been there twice. It was nice, and then they renovated it, and it was even nicer. So that's a wonderful stadium, and it's old. It's from 1973, but they keep it fixed up, and nah, there's nothing to do around the stadium. I mean, it's in the middle of like a field, really, and an Arrowhead is across the parking lot, and I mean, they're very close, kind of like the Ravens and the Baltimore Orioles. Their stadium is right on either side of a parking lot, like no joke, that's the truth. Kind of like the Oakland A's ballpark and what is it, Oracle Center, where the Golden State Warriors play, Oakland. It's the same parking lot, but there's a lot of places like that. But anyway, Kauffman Stadium is very nice, and the first time I went, I got a ticket for $7 at the gate. True story. The second time it was a little bit more expensive, but it's very nice. But there's nothing. I mean, you can go to Taco Bell before you go to the game. They have a Taco Bell, and then there was a Holiday Inn, and I went into their bar. You know, like a lot of Holiday Inns have a bar and a lounge, and they had the Boulevard Wheat beer. And the lady was saying, "What do you think about it? What do you think about it?" And I was saying, "Yeah, yes, this and that." And I was giving her a review of it, and she was interested. You know, the bartender. That was before I started doing video reviews, so I was. Oh, these comments. All right, so that was fascinating. I've been to every major league ballpark, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that. I've been to what, 38 of them? The 30 present, the 30 that they have now, and 8 that used to be in existence. and were either torn down or are no longer used. Yes, that was a project. Go to every major league ballpark, and I achieved that goal. Wonderful project. Best tourist thing you'll ever do in your life. Go to every major league baseball park. I'll never top that. Never top that. Hey, y'all shouldn't say all those ugly things now. You see, that's the problem with the internet. People can't just discuss things. You just want to say ugly things. So no. I'm going to erase those comments. Do I agree with Duke's comments? No, but I'm not going to say ugly things. So let's take those down. Jeep and Foodie says, next time you come to Missouri, you need to stock up on some Boulevard beer and do some revisits or new reviews. I agree with that, but man, I keep thinking that Boulevard's going to show up here. I know they got bought out by another company. But they never show up. Their beers never show up. Duke, the alien wizard says, I will upload a video right now. It will be about the aliens in the universe and the planets of the Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Duke, are you a Mormon? Is Duke a Mormon? All right, anyway. Oh, man, we better get off the air before this gets really bad. All right, thanks for watching this video production.